Hi and welcome to my tutorial on how to make a composite image. So today we are going to make a composite image that compiles of this moon, these two flowers here, and this Tyrannosaurus Rex, including a little small touch of its shadow, as you can see here. All of these images have been placed on top of the original image, which is this one here. So, as you can see, all of the added extras are now completely gone. So, what we want to do is we want to start off with this little part of the image here. What we're going to do is we're going to select a patch of the sky with the fuzzy 1 tool, as you can see here. And with this, this tool selects all localized similar colors. Now, unfortunately, the mountains here, if you click here now, they look the same. So what we do is we lower the threshold or bring it up to deselect or select parts. So I'll bring it down a bit, and yeah. So as you can see, some similar colors have been selected, but others, like this part here, have not. So we'll bring the threshold up, and I'll just show you what happens. Yeah. So as you can see now, everything in the whole image is selected because the tolerance is really high. So I think if we bring it down to around 60, we might be able to, no, maybe 50, I think, might be able to, okay. So as you can see here, much like before, a lot of colors have been selected. So a handy trick you can do is you can either hold the shift button, which allows you to select more, or hold the control button, which allows you to deselect more. So what we'll do is we will select as much as we can so we can get that small out, and if you drag it like I'm doing now, you'll notice that a small bit more, as you can now, perfect, as you can see, we have the part we want selected. So what we'll do now is we will deselect from the bottom of the mountain to deselect all of this other mountain range. So we'll use a lasso tool as we have now, and if you hold control, this means that whatever you highlight or surround will be deselected from your selection. If you hold control, as you can see, it makes a straight line as well. But so what we'll do is we will now deselect this mountain range, since it's not necessary to have it. Okay, now, as you can see, the mountain range in the background is deselected, but the portion we have is still selected. Now what we'll do is we want to make this into a new layer. So we will paste this as a new layer. As you can see on your right hand side, our layer page, our layer drop down menu, you will see a new layer appear there. But before that, we want to inverse it. So if we inverse our selection, it will take everything except that small patch there, so that the mountain range can then hide our moon. So as you'll see here now, we have everything but our sky portion selected and pasted. And if we paste this as a new layer, there you go. So now it is now on the clipboard as a new layer, which we'll use in a minute to demonstrate layer masks. So now that we have this new part selected and pasted as a new layer, we want to put the moon in there. And to put the moon in there, the best option is to go into your moon file. I have this selected already. So what you want to do is there is a lot of this moon that we can go around and select our time. But if you go into select and by color, you can select the black, which will do this. And as you can see, all of the black in the image has been selected. Again, if you look at the threshold, it is 15, so that means there's a low threshold, so most of it will be black selected. So now if we inverse that selection, we now have all of the moon selected. So again, go into edit, go copy, and now we will go back into our composite image and paste as a new layer. So we will paste a new layer and place it inside our two layers. Now, see, this is now a new layer in our image. So, as you can see, it is quite large. if we drop this layer down in between, now as you can see, our selection has been put behind our new layer, but above the base layer. But yet it is still big, it's too big. So let's pick this scale tool and scale our moon a bit down. So if you drag it down from the corner to the size you want, which I think this should be okay, and then click enter, it will reduce its size. Now you can't see it now because it's obviously hidden behind the new layer. The new layer. So if you use the move tool and pick move the active layer, you will see that as we highlight our layer, we can drag this into position. And now, as you can see, our moon is now in place and looks like it is just beyond the first mountain range, which looks very good to me and resembles our original image that we had prior. So now that we have this in place, we can move it a slight bit more if you want to make it a bit better. But now we're going to add the T-Rex. So similarly enough, I download this image from the internet. Now this image here actually has no background. It's a PNG image with no background. So you could use this tool here, which is the snipping tool, or we can just use the fuzzy one tool again. And as I said before, hold shift and select all of the invisible areas, and then invert it to have just the Tyrannosaurus Rex. So here we go, holding shift we can click each invisible part, holding shift as you see, and as you can see now, as we click it, we have another part of that image selected, and the final part would be just underneath the legs. So there we go. And now that we have all the parts selected around the Tyrannosaurus Rex, we can now inverse our selection by doing Control I or going into select toolbar and clicking inverse. So as you can see, now we have all of the Tyrannosaurus Rex selected. So same again, what we want to do is we want to copy this, go to edit, copy, and then we want to go back into our composite image and paste as a new layer again. So go into edit, paste as new layer, and here we go. So as you can see, the Tyrannosaurus Rex is now behind this one. So if we drag it back down, back up, so it's on top of all of the layers, you can see now the whole image. So again, we'll move our active layer to put this Tyrannosaurus Rex in place. Yeah, I think that would maybe a small bit more. Yeah. Now, so find a position for your Tyrannosaurus Rex, and now we have it there. I think this is a good position for it because we can put the shadow in after. So what we'll do now is we will make a shadow. So if you want to find in the filter shadows, and then click drop shadow. And once you click drop shadow here, a small dialog box will appear, which is asking you here if whereabouts your x-axis, your y-axis, how heavy you want the shadow, and the opacity. So what we want to do now is if we just put this shadow beyond the Tyrannosaurus Rex, we will get a very strong shadow here that probably won't do, but we can fix it later. So as you click enter, we will begin to show the new shadow on it. So I'll just click this now. Now, as you can see, this shadow is obviously unrealistic and it doesn't display any form of physics. So what we can do is, this has created a new layer called drop shadow, and as you can see, it's there. So what we can do here is we can actually scale this in a way to transform its size so that it looks more like an actual shadow. So if we pull this back down, pull it forward so it looks like a 3D image is pushed forward here. See the pane? Now if we pull this down a bit more, like so, I think that looks pretty okay. It makes more sense now and looks slightly more realistic. So you just click enter, and there you have your shadow, which is again underneath your Tyrannosaurus layer, as you can see. But now it's just slightly too dark, so we can just drop the opacity a bit. So if we drop it to around 57, it's getting there. It's a shadow, but it's still a bit too dark. Bring it back a bit more. Now it's starting to look like a real shadow. A small bit more, and now we see an actual shadow that represents the Tyrannosaurus Rex standing up. So now we will move on to our flower. I have this selected already by accident. Okay. So to get this, we want to get the outline of this flower. Now, as you can see, there's many more colors on the outside, so we can't use select by color, and the fuzzy 1 tool probably won't work too well. So what we can do is, as you can see, I'll just show you select by color. There's too many colors in range to use this. So what we can use here is our snipping tool, and this tool allows you to pinpoint each position that you want to pick around your image. And as you can see, the more you pick, the more detail and the more curves there will be. If I used less dots here, it would have a very jagged edge look and would not really display an accurate picture of an image of the flower. So I'm just going to quickly run through this, probably not being very accurate with it, but it's just to show a demonstration on how this tool works. So as I return back to my original spot, if you hold Control while clicking on the original spot, it will finish it off for you, as you can see here. And then once you do that, if you click enter, it will select the parts you have highlighted. As you can see now, the little lines are showing that I have this selected. So again, going to edit, copy, go back into your composite image. Then once you have this done, and we will make 2 or 3 flowers on our composite image of this. So again, if you want to just put this in here, you just go and paste as a new layer, and again, this is very big and unrealistic. So what we want to do here is we want to scale the image after we move it down to where we want to. Perfect. Now we will use the scale tool. Again, dragging from the corner, bringing it down to size we want, and then clicking enter. And now we have our little flower, which will move into position here on top of the river. So as you can see, we can now paste a new one again. So as you can see here, we can paste a new one to a new layer, and as you can see, this is a floating layer, which is what I clicked by accident there as a floating space. But again, you can just click to a new layer. So now we have 2 flowers. This one is the same size as the other one, and we have here another one here. And if we scale upwards, you'll notice that scaling upwards reduces the resolution on some images, and it's not as good resolution now, as you can see. So mainly you want to scale down. So if you just go back to your image, copy that again, go back to your composite image, paste as a new layer, and scale down. It is a much better way of doing it, because if you scale up, you just reduce resolution, it doesn't look good. So we'll make this slightly bigger than the last few, click enter, and position this in a better way right here. So now we have our composite image from the start with our shadow, our flowers which have been moved and scaled, our moon which is behind 2 layers, and everything here. So as you can see, we have all these layers which you can then flatten into one image if you want by doing this, and it's a good way of finishing off an image. So if you just merge down the whole way, or you can just pick a flattened image, but by merging down you combine, as you can see in this box, that the 3 flowers are now combined as one image, and now as you can see, the T-Rex and the 3 flowers are one image. So as you gradually go down here, merging all the layers, you'll notice that the image becomes one. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing this when you have a project, let's say, because by flattening the image, what will happen then is, as you can see, it becomes one whole image. Now this means that I can no longer move my flowers, and I can no longer scale the other images. This is one full image. So this is basically the steps you need to take to create a composite image like this, and as you can see, it literally only took a couple of minutes to do it to the exact point you want. And yeah, so thank you for watching. I hope you learned a few things while watching this, and I hope you enjoyed. So thank you. Goodbye.